Where the fuck is it? There it is.
Oh, he's in! He's got another one! Support arriving! Oh, they've scored! They've only gone and done it! It's absolutely extraordinary!
Corner for Ulsan, headed down, it's in! Martin Adam! Surely the title belongs to the Tigers!
You're listening to the K-League United podcast, proud partner of Football Nation Radio.
Hello, and welcome to the K-League United podcast. It's Series 6, Episode 12. I'm Paul Neat, and joining me is Mr. Matthew Binns. Hello.
Good morning, Paul, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are.
Yes, how are we doing?
Not too bad. It's a very, very early start today when we're recording this.
Aye, but an early start after an evening where Jeonbuk and Daejeon both won matches. We haven't said that too many times this season,
we haven't.
Have we?
No, not at all. It's a very odd feeling for Jeonbuk to be winning this season. 3-0 against Suwon. Unfortunately, though, Suwon obviously being bottom of the table it kind of takes the gloss off it a little bit.
True, but I suppose we should just dive in actually to the sort of whole Kim Sang-sik situation. He's gone. Mm-hmm. Jeonbuk's still managerless. What I find interesting is that in both games since Kim Sang-sik has left, they've scored within the first minute on both occasions.
Yeah, TikTok-tacker football for the modern generation. It's not for us legacy fans, Paul. No, it's everything's short, bite size, and you can get on with the rest of your day. But yeah, 2 goals, both within 20 seconds. This is the way forward. This is the future. After waiting, basically nearly the whole match with Kim Sang-sik for the team to get a goal, they just pile forward now and catch teams off guard. It seems.
But it's funny though, because it's to me it's quite an interesting thing to happen after the manager goes. Suddenly the shackles are off. That's what it looks like to me.
I mean, it could be because you wouldn't expect its assistant Kim Do-hon, who's in charge at the moment. He hasn't obviously had time. Kim Sang-sik, he left on the Thursday before Children's Day. They played on the Friday, so he didn't actually have much time with them to do anything. You wouldn't expect him to have had much time over the weekend either. Probably day off on the Saturday, go back training Sunday, Monday, and then off to Suwon on the Tuesday. So he hasn't. It's not like he's instilled some kind of philosophy. I think he's just let them go out and play. And I mean, given Jeonbuk's injury concerns as well, because they just have a continuing mounting injury list. It had more injuries against Seoul. 3 pit players came off injured, and he can't really do much with the players. He's just squeezing players into roles that they don't normally fit. Kim Sang-sik was doing that as well, partly to his credit, trying to get something out of it, but they're just playing. And yeah, I guess you could argue perhaps some kind of new manager bounce. There was an interesting article on The Athletic last week. I thought perhaps they had wrote it in for Kim Sang-sik, but no, some other European managers. Not so focused on the K-League as we are. But no. Talking about the actual role of a manager in modern day football, and it's an interesting conversation to have, because given what everything in place in clubs these days, directors of football, scouting networks, all these things, how much influence a manager has. And I guess that if we could wind the clock right back to the end of 2020, that's kind of the argument we had with Kim Sang-sik. Like, he is a new manager, but the whole setup was there for him, and you could argue perhaps that's what carried it. And obviously, I don't think Kim Do-hon's the answer. He's had two very good results, really. A draw against the Seoul side, which are flying high, and to be honest, Seoul probably should have won that one. I'll take the draw, and a convincing win against a struggling Suwon side, but still a Suwon side he had to beat. So, I mean, we've known for ages that Jeonbuk got the players. Even with all this injury list, you're still impressive watching all these players come off the bench going, oh, yeah, I forgot we got that one. We got that one. We got that player as well. Apparently, they've still got no fullbacks. Chachul Sun's out of favour, but
OJ Hot was one that I've forgotten that you'd signed.
Yeah.
Buchon.
So it's and I guess that also kind of plays into it. And we are going to go into Kim Sang-sik on a later pod. This is just a short one, but you think all those injuries and all those new players brought in, you think, well, he never really got the team he wanted to play together consistently this season. But that also negates the fact of how poorly they ended. Not ended last season. They ended last season quite strongly, actually, but how poorly last season went overall in the eyes of Jeonbuk fans. And you think he tried to fix things this season, but clearly everything hadn't fallen into place. But we knew what we were getting, I think, with Kim Sang-sik this season, and the right move, it seems, based on the early evidence. But obviously we're not gonna start shouting Kim Do-hwan in after 2 games and a couple of training sessions.
Yeah, well, who then could come in? Do you think? Why not Chae Kang-hee? I know he was linked, and then it's been said that no, he's not coming. We've had rumors of foreign coaches. Cannavaro was one. They've got Di Matteo in the building already. Sometimes, probably not every day, but who do you think could come in and take over?
Honestly, I don't know, because with Jeonbuk, you tend to get a lot of sillier options as well thrown around, because they have got a bit more of a budget. I think Kim Do-hun seemed like a sensible one, the former Ulsan manager. I thought that had an air of sensibility about it. Obviously, we've criticised him on this podcast for his ability to bottle it and things, but he is a good manager and perhaps would work well with this Jeonbuk team. Cannavaro, I've heard that as well. I mean, whether that actually comes to anything, I don't think so. I've heard some sillier ones as well, which I don't really want to give oxygen to. And I don't know. I genuinely, I wish I could. But they're the 2 names that have come up. But I mean, Park Ji-sung is apparently. I've seen rumors that he's in England, or he's using his links in England to try and find an option. Di Matteo, I thought like you, like, why is he being put in that role, that technical advisor role, if not to potentially take the role on? But I feel that they would have made him. I feel that if it was going to be him, it would have been swiftly announced, because all the things are in place for that to be a quick. Even though Kim Sang-sik resigned, it should be said he wasn't sacked. I think the writing was on the wall. They would have started chasing that lead up. So
unless he's not in the country at the moment, unless he's still elsewhere, and then he's having to wrap up his schedule, then he'll come back. But that's probably unlikely.
It's not his full-time role. It's a part-time role. I think that got overlooked a lot in the press releases as well, because obviously Jeonbuk, who wanted to announce it as Di Matteo as our technical advisor, it's a part-time role. It's not. It's very much. There's an air of just marketability about it. It's not really. I don't know how much influence he is. I'm sure he's doing something, but I don't know how much. Maybe not as much as people might be thinking.
Yeah, I think with Park Ji-sung and Di Matteo there, surely both of them should be able to get, have a look in their phone books and find somebody that they know that would be a good fit for the club. I think a foreign manager is probably the best way to go. I would not be convinced by Kim Do-hun. I know he did well winning the ACL with Ulsan, came close to winning the league. I just don't think he's a Jeonbuk manager.
No, I think, it's a difficult one. Probably not, but he has got the pedigree to have competed. It'd be interesting to be finishing second to Ulsan in future seasons on the last day of the season. But I don't know. I mean, it depends as well what they want to achieve now.
That's it. What is the target now for this season? Top 3, 4?
I think because they've kind of been a little bit lucky in the sense that the Champions League has moved this season. So the group stages are starting in August or later this year, and so therefore they can shift their entire attention to making sure they get out the groups. I think that the Champions League is now first and foremost. Obviously, can't win it this season because it goes over now into the new year. But I think obviously you want to try and win the FA Cup. It's going to be try and win as much as possible and try and salvage a season. But yeah, it's going to be Champions League. You can't. I think realistically, you've got to say that they are so far behind, and Ulsan will drop points. They're not going to maintain this gap over Jeonbuk, but it's not a gap over Jeonbuk anymore. It's a gap over Seoul. It's a gap over Pohang. Jeonbuk are out of the running at present, and it's going to take a good run of form before we can consider them in. So I think probably just top 4 salvage the season in terms of the league.
Well, other managerial changes we had, obviously, Suwon Bluewings. They have Kim Byung-soo in. Byung-soo Balls arrived at Big Bird.
Yeah.
Is he? Well, I suppose the task at hand for him is very simple: keep them up. But can he do it?
He obviously comes with the philosophy, doesn't he, of Byung-soo Ball. I don't think he called it that. I think that was obviously anointed by the press.
You'd have to be a bit mad and a bit sort of self-obsessed to sort of name your own, give a name to your own brand of football. Even calling it a brand of football yourself would be a little bit narcissistic. But yeah, Byung-soo Ball, definitely something that he probably wants to sort of,
I think
calm it down a bit.
We all went because I think it was 2020. We all kind of bought in. The end of 2019, people began to buy into his hype because he was just doing something different. I think the K-League, you tend to get a lot of managers doing the same thing, and it only takes a slight twist, a slight innovation to make yourself look like a forward-thinking manager. And
it does, unfortunately.
I mean, when you think Byung-soo Ball, everything goes back to that first round of 2020, that goal by Kim Dae-won. That's the first thing that comes to my head every time I think of Byung-soo Ball. That quick attack against FC Seoul on the counter, the passing and the fancy finish, and that's his style. For anybody uninitiated with it, it's a passing build-up, a bit quicker. It's about possession, and he didn't go right for him at Gangwon. Obviously, he got fired in the end. So hopefully he'll be able to instill something better at Suwon. But it is a philosophy that takes time. If he's trying to, he comes with a mantra of how he wants to play football, and he's coming into a club which requires a firefighter. So he wasn't likely going to win. I mean, he had a chance of winning against Jeonbuk purely because Jeonbuk had no manager. But I think anybody expect him to win these next few games will be in for a bit of a shock, because I think it's going to take time before we start seeing the fruits of his labour and see if Suwon can pull it off. But they have got good players, Suwon, and if they respond to him, then he could be the right choice.
Yeah, well, they have got Gangwon away next, so his first away game will be back to his old stomping ground. But I just want to have a look at his overall record in K-League 1. 37 wins, 30 draws, and 49 losses from 116 games. That's a win percentage of 31.9. Overall, including K-League 2, obviously, because he had a spell in charge of Seoul Eland, it's 28.9% win ratio. So, yeah, I'm not convinced he's the right man, but a statement from the club said that they believe he is the right man because he had provided the most detail in terms of what the team's problems are and how to address them. So, yeah, time will tell what happens with that one, but I'm not convinced he will be able to save them. I hope they do. Got like you said, Matthew, got some good players there. Some, and also, when you've interviewed some players and you speak to them, you want them to do well.
Mm-hmm.
So nice guys like Dave Bulthouse and Maxwell Acosti, Mulich as well. I've spoken to him before. I don't want to see them in this position. You know what I mean? I think Suwon Bluewings going down will be bad for K-League anyway. But I mean, it's always funny when the big team is struggling. It's a bit of drama, but I just think, probably not great. I'm not convinced that if they do go down, Samsung or whichever branch of Samsung that runs the club now would really bankroll them to get out of the KLU 2. So anyway, well, we should move on. Is the title race over? You kind of touched on this already just a minute ago, Matthew, but Ulsan now, they are on 31 points. FC Seoul 23 after 12 rounds played. Nearest is then Daejeon with 21 and Pohang with 20. They are steaming ahead. Obviously, still early. I know it's still early, but they look relentless, don't they, Ulsan?
Yeah, they do, but they did last season, and they did the season before that. They've always, for the last few years, they've got into this trend of coming out the gates early. And last year they did hold Jeonbuk off, but it did take until the penultimate game of the season for them to actually confirm it. So there is the possibility that they are going to drop points. And Ulsan fans are... Oh, that was a Freudian slip. Ulsan fans are aware that they're going to drop points as well. I don't think they're thinking for 1 second that they're going to maintain this pace. But they do look good. They look good. They don't look great. And there are a ton of cliches that are going to come out here, but they are finding the wind without looking great. I think, obviously, coming into a season, you've got new players you're trying to bed in, and a lot of them have bedded in well. Ludwigsen especially, I think he's been a fantastic purchase. Joo Min-kyu's slowly beginning to recapture the form that he got at Jeju, and he's having a far better stint than he had at his first stint in Ulsan. So yeah, I think they will get better. I think that's the scary thing, that Ulsan are going to get better, but there are going to be more disappointments along the way. They've had a couple of losses this season. They've had a couple of scares as well, going 2 goals down to Pohang and have to fight back, going down to Gwangju and to fight back. Great that they're fighting back, but they are there to be beaten. And I don't want to say FC Seoul, but I mean, just switching our focus to FC Seoul as well. I don't know what's gone on there, but they're playing with a lot of positivity at Seoul this season. And I still don't think Anik-soo is the right man for the job. I still don't. But also at the same time, don't question something when it's going well. Yeah. It is going very well for Ulsan. It's going very well for Seoul at the moment. Sorry, we don't normally record at this time. Very early. Yeah, it is going very well for them. So perhaps they could take some points off them this weekend. And, you take 3 points back there. You said how big the gap is, but minus 3 points is suddenly, there's a title race back on again. So who knows? Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. So there you go. It's down to FC Seoul to make sure that there is a title race heading into rest of the season.
I was hoping it'd be Pohang. I thought if it wasn't going to be Jeonbuk, obviously it'd be good to be Pohang. Let the B team do well.
Well, 3 games without a win. Pohang, they drew with Daegu in midweek, 1-1. Muyeol was there, and he caught up with Alex Grant, and here's what he had to say.
I'm at DGB Daegu Bank Park, where Pohang picked up a point on a road after 1-1 draw and managed to get out of the losing streaks. I'm joined by Pohang defender Alex Grant. Hi, Alex. It was a bright start to the game for Pohang, but a bit of scrappy in the second half. What are your thoughts on the result?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're coming off the back of 2 losses, so it was important to rectify that and obviously try and get a win tonight. Ultimately, we didn't do that, but to come to this stadium and get a point, I guess, is not the worst result. We don't tend to pick up a lot of points at this ground. It is, for some reason, always hard. And yeah, I guess after a bright start and scoring pretty early, I mean, we conceded a sloppy goal that we were a bit disappointed about. And look, in the second half, it was maybe a little bit scrappy, a few tired legs with the schedule, but we still created chances with the football we played. And I think really we were unlucky not to take the 3 points.
Well, obviously in a 1-1 draw, you scored the only goal for Pohang, and that is also the first goal of the season for yourself. And actually, this goal also marks the first Pohang goal from set play. Do you know that? No, you didn't know that. And actually, the Pohang manager Kim Gi-dong was pleased with the goal scored on a set play. Yeah. and he was waiting for this goal very, very long time and hope to see more. And can you talk us through that moment?
Yeah, I mean, like me and Zeko, we talked before the game and talked on the pitch as well about trying to get a block. Because I mean, this year, I don't know, the defenders within the box have, I don't know, there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on. But I mean, the referees allow it, and that's what it's all about. And I enjoy it. I like the battle that we have, and it's the same at the other end when we're defending, so it's good. And yeah, look, I knew if the ball was right, which it was, I had a free run, you know, and still had a bit to do with the finish, but you know, I just stuck my head in and obviously got on the end of it. But like you said, I feel like it's been coming, you know. We always look a threat from set plays. We always create chances. It just hasn't happened yet. So obviously with the goal tonight, hopefully we get a few more now going forward from set pieces.
Yeah. Not against Daegu, but
okay, all right, okay.
Yeah. And 1-1 at the halftime, and the second half saw the change of the flow, and the game became very wide open, I think. And having the similar fashion in terms of the Pohang's performance, having the quite similar fashion from Jeju away game, Pohang really couldn't make the end product in front of goal. And I might be asking this question to wrong person, but you scored it today, so I have to ask you this question. So how do you think this can be improved?
I mean, look, as long as we're creating chances, that's the main thing for me. I think when a team isn't creating chances and they're lacking creativity in and around the box, that's when there's an issue. But you know, to take the positive from it, we are creating good opportunities. You see, like Muyeol Jung, the boys will get around him. You know, he missed a big chance tonight that could have got us the 3 points. But you know, I had another header. There was still half chances in the game where we could have took the lead. But he'll save us. You know, he scored 2 against Ulsan. There'll be other games in the season where, you know, he'll help us out, and other people will chip in as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so 12 games into the season, and we have played 11 teams once. And Pohang at the moment currently sitting third in the table. How do you assess Pohang's performance so far?
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously a week and a half ago we were sitting there unbeaten, just behind Ulsan, and now we're 11 points behind them in the space of a week and a half. So it's funny how quickly it can change, but that's the reality of it. You know, and we know that it can change back very quickly. You know, I mean, Ulsan are doing very well at the moment, and they're the team to catch, obviously, this season. Yet again, so we're going to have to keep pushing forward and try and pick up some wins now. We've got a big game against Daejeon on Saturday, so that will be hard, but we're at home, and, you know, we'll take some confidence from this game.
Yeah. Here comes the final question. So many away fans made a trip to Daegu tonight. I mean, despite the game kicked off at Tuesday night, and I know just both cities are only like 100 kilometers apart. It's relatively close, but any final words to traveling fans tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the fans, Pohang fans are amazing. Whether we're at the Steel Yard or whether we're away, they always turn out, and, you know, you hear them the whole game, and, you know, some of them might not think that we can hear them, but I tell you now, like, throughout the game, they do drive you on, especially on a night like this when Daegu maybe haven't got a full house. You know, they really can be heard, you know, and it does give us that extra drive, and it gives us that extra lift. And, you know, like from where I come from, we call them the 12th man, you know, that extra player on the park, you know. And, you know, like I said, the Pohang fans, they were amazing tonight. They're amazing all the time. So, yeah, big credit to them. I hope everyone gets home safe. I know they will be later on when they listen to this, so hopefully everyone got home safe. So, yeah, big thanks to them.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, and good luck.
Thanks very much. Cheers, bro.
All right. Thank you very much to Muyeol and Alex Grant. Well, we touched on Seoul just before we heard from Alex Grant. Osmar is the new captain of FC Seoul. Kind of came as a surprise because, you know, I know Seoul have had form for changing their captains mid-season, but not this early. And the situation with Ilyichenko, who was, of course, the club captain, was all very, very, very strange. Now, Anix-Soo says it was Ilyichenko's decision to step down as captain. He wasn't stripped of the captaincy or anything like that. But still, what a very, very odd situation that has been. Ilyichenko, captain, played, I think, 4 or 5 times this season, and most of the time he's been hooked at half time.
Yeah. I mean, I believe he started the season with injuries as well. He wasn't fully fit coming into the year, so there was an element of that to be had there. But it is a strange situation. I think perhaps it was a statement at the beginning of the season that we're going to have Ilyachenko. He's going to be Aniksu putting everything in on Ilyachenko to be their leading scorer and everything. And then obviously they brought in the likes of Hwang Hee-jo and the resurgence in form of Na Sang-ho as well has kind of reduced the amount that they thought they'd have to rely on Ilyachenko, I think, in that sense. And well, if he stepped down himself, he's realised it as well. But what is interesting is that Osmar's fantastic choice for captain, was formerly the captain, but he isn't the backup captain, if I'm right to believe. I mean, Seoul have a long list of vice captains.
Half the team is basically vice captain. So they have, I think, off the top of my head, 4 vice captains. Im Sang-hyuk, Kim Jin-yao, which is a very strange choice. Mm-hmm. Kim Ju-song, perhaps even stranger, and the other one I've forgotten. But they've got lots of vice captains, and none of them were Osmar. So Osmar should have been the captain from the beginning, or at least one of the vice captains.
Yeah. I think, I mean, who knows what goes on behind the closed dressing room doors here. Osmar's obviously a very influential figure in the dressing room. I think it would be strange that he wasn't even considered as a vice captain. But perhaps it would be seen as although it could be seen like a lack of respect to make him a vice captain after being a captain in the past. Like to demote you probably isn't the best way either. But I think he's a great choice. He's done it before. I think he'll do a good job again here. Obviously, we like Osmar on this podcast. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm sorry it didn't work out for Ilyachenko. I still think he's got a place at the club, especially when Hwang Hee-jo moves on in the summer as expected. So it's just a bit odd, like you said, a little bit odd. I think Ilyachenko was probably a statement from the manager at the beginning of the season, and he's quickly realizing as he's finding this winning formula that, actually, he's seeing the dynamics on the pitch and seeing who's the leaders on the pitch, and it's okay to go back when you've made a mistake and change it. At least he's done it, So, yeah.
Aniksu, he also praised Ilyachenko's professionalism, and I've seen other people as well. Im Sang-hyuk on Instagram stories also say something very similar about how he's always, there for the team, whether he's in the team or not. And I think it is quite telling when you see how supportive he is. If you look at the Gwangju highlights when Park Dong-jin scored, he was just as happy as Park Dong-jin was that he scored. And he's still involved. He's not on the sidelines sulking. So hopefully he does get himself back in the team, and he can be as devastating as he was in his Pohang days and his Jeonbuk days. And like we said, trying to get this title race back on. But speaking of coming from Spain to Korea, K-League apparently not happy with the idea of Real Mallorca playing against Napoli in a friendly in Korea on a K-League match day. So I'm not sure if you've seen those reports surface.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this sort of slew of European clubs supposedly coming to Korea this summer?
I mean, the football fan inside of me doesn't like it because it feels pointless. It's disruptive to the season. The issue is that the sponsors Kupang. And Kupang has brought a lot of additional analysis to the TV presentations. It's brought a lot of professionalism to it, and it's reinvesting in the game. But to do these kind of deals, you have to also agree to some terms. And Kupang are also able to attract these teams. They attract Tottenham last season, obviously attracting Napoli with Kim Min-jae, who is a former K-League product as well. If K-League aren't on the back of saying, well, look at this made in K-League Italian champion. If
he's still there though, he might have gone to Man United by then.
Well, yeah, exactly. And obviously they've managed to attract City. That's not why I'm wearing the shirt for this. And
Celtic.
and Celtic. So and that's also so.
Well,
Do I
I'm
like
not sure
it?
if Celtic is part
No,
of the
Celtic
Kupang Play series thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that once these names go, other clubs go as well.
Yeah.
It's like they don't want one club to take that market. And when you're a club like Celtic, as big as Celtic, and you've got a player that has been made in K League, the fact if you're not making it, if you're not taking advantage of it, then you've really got to be questioning what your marketing department's doing.
Yeah.
But no, I don't like that it's messing around with the K League schedule. I don't. I am also not a big fan of these friendlies, but also there are fans of European clubs in Korea, and I don't think there is that much harm in them coming over to do friendlies. But yeah, I don't think it should disrupt the season either. I think something midweek, and something midweek that doesn't get in the way would be ideal for everyone. But fans are quite happy to praise Kupang's analysis, praise Kupang's coverage and stuff, but it's part of the deal. It's part of the deal that they're going to bring these clubs over, and if it can be reflected in the stands later down the line, if we can get more people in the grounds, and we have got an increase in capacity this year, then let's just hope it has a positive effect.
Indeed, right. Well, we've already mentioned this kind of already, but the sort of big game at the weekend, Ulsan at home to FC Seoul. That is our Futbology match of the round, and here is Andrew Farrell with all the information that you need.
Futbology is a football app like no other. With the handiest tool for football fans on your phone, you can locate any match nearby no matter where on the planet you are or plan to be. Keep track of all your visited games, collect all kinds of stats, and get badges for achievements like special games and milestone events. The Futbology app covers more than 80,000 grounds and 1,200 leagues worldwide, including K-League 1 and 2, as well as K3 and K4 and the WK League. Download Futbology for free today on iPhone or Android. Connect with your friends, and your football life will never be the same again.
So as you've been hearing, the big game in K-League 1 this weekend is a top-of-the-table clash between defending champions Ulsan Hyundai and FC Seoul at Muyeol Football Stadium. The likelihood is the visiting Seoul team will need all 3 points to prevent the destination of the championship becoming a mere formality. It should be spicy and a great advert for football in this country. The game kicks off at 2:30 p.m. this coming Sunday. Muyeol Stadium isn't an easy ground to reach, so if you're planning to visit for the day, please give yourself plenty of time. You will need it. The football stadium is part of a sports complex 9 kilometers west of central Ulsan. Beyond the stadium is basically farmlands and intercity highways. There are plenty of city buses from the city centre, so if you're taking that option, just check out some local apps. A taxi will cost approximately 10,000 won, but without a subway connection, traffic tends to be really slow on all approach roads to the stadium on match day. Ulsan KTX station is even further west, a very long way from the city. Those comfy red buses, bus number 5004, makes a 19-kilometer journey to Muyeol in a little under an hour. There is parking at the stadium if you have a car, but again, traffic on the Muyeol row especially is going to be very busy. Arrive early or be disappointed. As you would expect from a World Cup caliber stadium opened in 2001, Muyeol is a top-class sporting arena. It isn't as aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion, as Suwon's Big Bird or Jeju United's home ground, but it is a great football stadium, and it doesn't have a running track. The current capacity is around 37,000. Muyeol hosted 3 games each at the 2001 Confederations Cup and 2002 FIFA World Cup. Recently, it staged Korea's friendly game with Colombia. And of course, Ulsan ended nearly 3 decades of hurt by lifting the K-League trophy here last autumn. Home supporters are behind the goals on the south stand. The entrance to the stand is also a great meeting point. Tarping and banners adorn the exterior of the stadium, and you'll usually find fans taking photographs here pre-game. There are seats and safe standing areas in the south stand. Across the stadium, you'll also find a camping zone with tents tables, premium seats, and a section called Dang Dang Chicken. For a full breakdown of the seating options at Munsu, visit the ticket box on the southeast corner or check out the TicketLink app where Ulsan's tickets are sold. Given the importance of this fixture, pretty much all of those sought after tickets are sold out. Away fans are in the north stand and usually have 3 blocks of seating. Finally, if you haven't already done so, please download the Futbology app immediately. Head to Munsu, check in and connect with other K-League users and upload a photograph of the game.
All right, thank you very much. By the way, if you are a first language speaker in Korean, or if you'd like to just use football to help you learn Korean, Futbology is now available in Korean. Some more information on that coming very, very soon. Some other housekeeping. It was the 3-year anniversary of Daejeon Hana, the Hana Finance era. I took a look at where all 14 players who played in their first game, their first win, a 2-1 win over Suwon FC 3 years ago, where are they now? I also spoke to 3 players who were involved in that game about what it was like, them being Park In-hyuk, who got the assist for Andre Luis, his equalizer, as well as Bruno Bayo and Lee Gyuro. And for Lee Gyuro, a full interview with him coming soon, so don't miss that. Not many players can say they've won the K-League with 2 different teams and an FA Cup with another. So there's that. Lots of great stuff from Andrew Farrell as well as his Futbology Match of the Round stuff. He's got stadium guides and stuff. He's been all over Korea, and we're not even in the summer yet, not properly anyway. He's got something up there about Cheongju at the moment. And I've seen in the draft something very interesting about Bucheon Stadium. So don't make sure you don't miss that. Michael Redmond as well talks about Vietnam Day at Seoul, Inland. If you want to know more about that, make sure you do check it out. Zeno Joe has something about Mario Kovacic, former Pohang player. He's a star in Slovenia, but what went wrong at the Steel Yard? More from him as well. And of course, lots of previews and other stuff on KLeagueUnited.com and KLeague.com. But that's it from us for this week. Thanks for tuning in. Chat real soon. See you soon.
정조선 공용 폭격기 김, 신, 울